Good morning, Bill. Good morning. You're on my mind today, Bill. You're on my mind and sending major positive energy your way. Sincerely. That's not just words. After the program today, I'm going to just concentrate on you for about 15 minutes straight. Good morning, Derek. Good morning. Good morning, HB Nerds. Your guys' show was really good. Program was really good last night. I'll confess something though. I fell asleep at about 9:45. Well, I missed the end. But every part that I did see reminds me, boy, you guys are coming along. Really good stuff, and I mean that. Entertaining and educational and just ultimately watchable. Very watchable. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Zozo. And good morning, Dwayne Beauchamp. Good morning, Dwayne. From Canada. Good morning, Dwaynester. Explain the sleepover. Good morning, exception. What do you guys mean by a sleepover? You're going to have the camera on all night? What's the story with the sleepover? How does that work? I've been curious. Good morning, Cyber Jolie. You're going to stay on as long as you can. You mean as long as one of the three of you is awake? Is that what you mean? Good morning, Laura. What is the? I've never really heard of a sleep. Some of your songs, you'll play video games and stuff. Gonna keep the camera on as long as possible on Friday. That is cool. Very creative. Very creative. That's cool. That's cool. And I'm curious to see HB in his music endeavors. Derek's idea, that doesn't surprise me. Good morning, Ray Cook. Good morning. Who else is here this morning that I just missed? Funny Zunverse. Good morning, Fun. Good morning, Mike the handsome buddy ball. Good morning, Share Bear. We're talking about bears today, aren't we? We're going to cover bears as a spirit animal today. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Good morning. Cleanster. I see someone that grows very clean stuff. His name's Clean Grow. Good morning, Nipper Mama. Good morning. Canito is neato. Good morning. Good morning, Trenty the Trenty Trenterson. We're going to get started right away this morning because we have a few things to cover. Let's get started with this. I'm going to turn the music down a touch. And I'm going to put this in front of the camera. On Derek Anderson's IG page, he posted this, and we talked back and forth, and I told him I would be happy to put the word out on Tea with Pops. They're running a raffle. It's $25 a spot for the raffle, and they are going to stop it at 20 entries. Okay? And the money enter to help my San Antonio community The proceeds of this raffle are going to go to the San Antonio Women's Shelter. And for a $25 entry fee, and there's only going to be 20 entries, okay, they are raffling in value somewhere between $1,700 and $2,500 worth of swabs. I think it's like 170 swabs. Yeah, it's quite a few swabs. Here's the types that are going to be: blue meanies, Louis Vuitton. By the way, blue meanies, I've grown. Let me show you something. Blue meanies are cool, and they're real easy. They're an easy grower. Okay, Louis Vuitton garlic knots, Noids. Never heard of Noid. Golden Teacher, ODPE, and Tidal Wave swabs. Taylor, reach out to them, and I'm sure you don't have to do it on social, but you might have to email one or the other of them. You'll probably have to email Derek if Derek wants to give out his email address. Okay? So, for the raffle to take place, they have to have 20 entries, and they need all of the money in by March 13th. Okay? Looks like Greenie's gonna donate some Gorilla Wizard Nat Squats and Melmac. Greenie's gonna be, I'm not surprised, Greenie gave away an ounce of Smoke 'em If You Got 'em Weedicle a couple of weeks ago when we did the raffle for helping Kimber with her dental issues. I'm not surprised that Greenie continues to be as generous as he is. Not surprised in the least. Thank you, Greenie. So, if you're feeling led to help the San Antonio Women's Shelter, Derek, after the program today, do me a, oh, by the way, it's Mark Z is Derek and Mark Z are doing it together. Derek is sending the money to Mark Z, and Mark Z will be doing the appropriate thing with it. A quick note, I think this is true. That's right, Kim, I agree with you. Lots of women need lots of help everywhere. Not just women, everybody does. But a women's shelter is pretty darn special. There, I was going to say that, Derek. Mark Z, somebody asked a couple of days ago, has anybody seen Mark Z? And the answer is he has decided mental health time, nothing bad, but he's just going to take a little break from social media. And I think that's a good idea every once in a while for us to do. I am not Mr. IG too much anymore, but I definitely have to be at the gym here at the YouTube in the morning to hang out and do the things we do here. Okay, let's go back, Pops, go back. Now, let's see, go back, Popsy. Okay, so, Derek, after today's program, please send me your Cash App. Send me your Cash App. Pretty much me too, Queenie. Even though I do post like a couple of times a week now. Just to keep my posting alive. But a 1 in 20 chance of winning is very good. So, if you're feeling led, go ahead and reach out to Derek Anderson, and Derek will figure out how to squeeze that $25 out of you. Okay? I think Mark is fine. He's just doing what's probably a pretty smart thing for most of us to do is every once in a while take a break. Be still. I watched this video yesterday and got goosebumps. I got really sincere goosebumps. Right, Nippy? We get that, don't we? Good morning, Wazzy the Wizzy Wazzer. I got goosebumps. I want to show this video to you guys. Maybe I ought to clean the screen a little, but I'm going to show this video to you guys. Who's passing by this girl sitting on the street. It's raining out. She didn't just give her $1 and keep walking. Is it AI, Bendy? I agree with Derek Anderson. Even if it is AI, it's a great message for all of us. I don't think that's AI, though. That looks way better than AI. But who knows? And she left her with the umbrella. You're right, Kenny. I like that, Waz. Whether it's real or not, kindness demands being in a moment, not just taking a moment. Nerd says it's not AI, but it's staged. It would have to be based off of how quick the cars come and go, but do you get the idea? Take an extra step. Or two. I like it. I like it. Let me share one more video with you. This one's a little bit different. Watch this.
What if we could grow packaging? This mushroom packaging can be grown into any shape in as little as 7 days. It's a direct replacement for polystyrene, one of the biggest sources of microplastics. Magical Mushrooms packaging is naturally water resistant and it's cost competitive. It's made using a mix of mycelium and hemp from agricultural waste. The chitin in the mycelium acts as a natural glue that binds it all together. This can be used for packaging all kinds of items, including glass bottles, perfume, industrial pieces, and even work as acoustic insulation. At the end of its life, it can be put in your food waste bin or garden and decomposes in weeks. The magical mushroom
The
company has
decomposed
already
part's
replaced
what's
millions of
amazing.
pieces of polystyrene, a material that is nearly impossible to recycle, leaves microplastics in our environment, and lasts for centuries. Share this video if you want to help eliminate polystyrene. What if we could grow packaging? This mushroom packaging can be grown into any shape in
Isn't
as
that
little
beautiful?
as 7 days.
Mushrooms are so
It's a
amazing.
direct replacement for polystyrene, one of the biggest sources of microplastics. Magical Mushrooms packaging is naturally water resistant and it's cost competitive. It's made using a mix of mycelium and hemp from agricultural waste. The chitin in the mycelium acts as a natural glue that binds it all together. This can be used for packaging all kinds of items, including glass bottles, perfume, industrial pieces, and even work as acoustic insulation. At the end of its life, it can be put in your food waste bin or garden and decomposes in weeks. The Magical Mushroom Company has already replaced millions of pieces of polystyrene, a material that is nearly impossible to recycle, leaves microplastics in our environment, and lasts for centuries. Share this video if you want to help eliminate polystyrene.
That's why I shared it.
Packaging? This mushroom packaging can be grown into any shape in as little as 7 days. It's a direct replacement for polystyrene.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, friends. Isn't that amazing? Mushrooms. Not a plant and not an animal. And they've been around since the dawn of creation. Right, Kim? That's a good idea, Kim. Except don't leave the box out in the rain. Okay? Isn't that amazing, you guys? The first video that we shared there this morning, even if it was staged, the message is still the same, okay? It brought to mind for me, I typically just give $1 or $5 and I just keep walking. The next time I see somebody that I feel led to donate some money to in person, I'm gonna stop and engage with that person for a few moments. Because my time and my attention to that person, I believe will be more valuable than any money I could give them. Not any money, but than giving them money. I truly, honestly believe that. Okay? So give a little bit of your time. You can't volunteer. You don't have space in your life for you can find somebody to pay attention to a lonely person that could use your attention. And you walk away filling your soul with goodness. Your soul feels amazing. What's happening with HB? What do you say? Who's having an anniversary? Four Leaf. Congratulations, Four Leaf. Happy anniversary. I think Four Leaf wrote to me and said that he said that he's going back to school. Was that you, Four Leaf? We talked and you said you were going back to school. And I just think that's so amazing. Pops is in school right now. I'm in school. I love it. Next week, or the beginning of next week. Yeah, the beginning of next week. 1 second, excuse me. Granny nudged me. Green Table Gardens nudged Pops a couple of days ago and said, Pops, what's going on are we doing a Mush Fest for spring? And I know that they're doing the Rocky Mountain Mush Fest in July, mid-July. The months have gotten away from me this year. I had planned to plan something in January, and now we're already ready to go into March. Okay? Monday, we're going to have a small discussion among us, and we'll decide what's going on with the Mush Fest in the Detroit area and what's an appropriate date to do it. Okay? So we're going to be thinking about that. Start thinking about it. Ken just told us right there that the Rocky Mountain Mush Fest is July 16th through 19th. And so if we were to do one, we'd have to get it in soon, or we might wait until fall. Okay? So we'll have a discussion about that, but thank goodness, thank you to Greenie for nudging Pops and getting me on the ball. I've been busy, truly busy, with a few of my other concerns, but Greenie's got the way, and he does it so kindly. He's got a way to nudge Pops in the correct direction. Okay, let's talk about bears as a spirit animal. The bear as a spirit animal represents immense strength, confidence, and courage, serving as a powerful guide for leadership and grounding. It symbolizes the need for introspection. Get a little music here. It symbolizes the need for introspection, solitude, and healing, often appearing when it is time to protect personal boundaries or face challenges with tenacity. The key meanings of the bear spirit animal: strength and grounding. The bear is a symbol of physical and inner strength, encouraging you to stand tall in your personal power and authority. Healing and medicine. Bears are considered healers, using their knowledge to care for themselves. Thus, they represent a time to nurture your physical or emotional health. Bears are healers. That's neat. Introspection and solitude. Due to their hibernation habits, bears encourage taking time for silence and rest and introspection to gain clarity and wisdom. Protection and courage. Oh, here come you moms. Okay? Bear energy is associated with the mama bear, encouraging protection of loved ones and defending your beliefs with courage. Leadership and authority. A bear guiding your life often indicates it's time to take charge of a situation and lead with confidence. Connection to earth. As animals, they dig. They are strongly connected to earth, rooting you in practical, grounded energy. When the bear appears, when the bear shows up in your life, it may be a reminder to take a step back and rest, or conversely, to stand up for yourself and confront a difficult situation with fearlessness. They remind you that you have the power within to overcome obstacles and to set firm boundaries. Bears are cool. That's a great spirit animal. Whoever has a bear for a spirit animal. Something neat. On IG yesterday, I believe it was, our group chat page, I believe, Jolie posted a free test that you can take. I did it. It's a free, I believe that, Nipper, you're a mama bear. It's a free test that you can take that tells you, quote unquote, after you answer a small series of questions, it only takes about 5 minutes, and it's free. And it based off of the answers to the questions that it asks, it tells you what your spirit animal is. Now, I don't know how accurate it is overall, but I've always felt owl was my spirit animal. And I mentioned that at the beginning of this week. I took the test, and guess what? Guess what it came back? My answer. Owl. Woo! Woo! So I was like, Herbie, Derek, you got owl too? I got an owl. Derek, we must have answered the same thing. I got an owl. I was like, yeah. Maybe this, I don't know if the test works perfectly for everybody. But that was, Derek's like, I think everybody gets an owl. Oh, that would be a bummer. That would be a bummer. Trent got turtle. Okay, turtle's a pretty cool animal too. So, excuse me. Derek, what if we all got owl? Oh, jeez. So go, if you're interested, go take the test and see what your spirit animal is. What animal are we doing tomorrow? First three comments that have the same animal, that's the one we're doing tomorrow. Which one should we be doing tomorrow? Jesus Christ says a gecko. I'm not sure that's a spirit animal, but maybe. We'll look it up. Which one should we be doing tomorrow? We have a buffalo, we have a hawk, we have a cat and a cat. We have a cat and a cat. We did owl on Monday. Everybody gets owl. Oh, how would you know either, you know, what everyone else got? Oh, okay, so far we have 2 cats. We have a hawk. We have 2 hawks. Okay, so who's going to win, hawk or a cat? Otter, that's a neat one. Where are we going? Where are we going? Dinosaur. What kind of dinosaur? Oh, which one? Armadillo. We got 3 cats. Tomorrow we're doing kitty cats. Okay? We're going to do cat tomorrow. Okay? We have 3 cats. We're the first 3 that I saw. Alright? Jesus Christ, you're going over the top. You are over the top, my friend. Oh, gosh. I'm still cracking up inside, Derek. You're funny. What if we all got owl? Let's see here. Magic mushrooms may use psychedelics. It was Derek's post. Okay, thank you, Cyber Jolie. Derek posted the test one, not Jolie. Okay, thank you, Derek. Magic mushrooms may use psychedelics to kill hungry insects. The evolution of mushrooms is amazing. Maybe the reason scientists are starting to see, one of the reasons that some strains of mushrooms have evolved into having psilocybin in them is potentially to scare off the insects that eat them. Magic mushrooms appear to do more than alter perception. They may help protect themselves from insects. It's a natural defense mechanism. In a recent study, researchers found that magic mushrooms kill and stunt the growth of insect larvae that feed on them. I'm just so amazed at some of the studies they're doing now. I love it. The results support a long-suspected explanation. The psychedelic chemicals humans seek out may have evolved to protect fungi from being eaten. Inside a controlled laboratory, fly larvae consumed food laced with dried psilocybin cubensis, and survival dropped sharply compared with other controls. Tracking each insect from larvae to adult, Dr. Kirsty Matthews Nichols of the University of Plymouth documented how development stalled and mortality climbed as exposure increased. Individual flies that survived emerged smaller and visibly stressed, carrying the imprint of chemical interference from their earliest growth stages. Those biological costs established that the mushroom extract does more than alter behavior, setting up a closer look at how movement and coordination break down under exposure. At low doses, survival to adulthood dropped by more than half, and higher doses left only about a quarter alive. Remember, they're starting with the larvae. To run the test, the team mixed dry psilocybin cubensis into larval food, and they followed each insect through its cycle. Even among those that made it through development, the effects were clear. Adult flies were smaller, with shorter bodies, and asymmetries between the left and right wing, which is a classic sign of developmental stress, said Nicholas. Rather than giving insects hallucinations, the mushrooms seemed to disrupt basic growth, setting up a direct test of behavior. After a 1-hour dip in sugary mushroom extract, larvae moved less and turned more erratically on camera. Video tracking captured crawl speed and distance. They're really into this test, letting researchers gauge short-term effects on the insect nervous system. They crawled shorter distances, spent less time moving overall, and they showed more erratic turning behavior. Less movement and poor coordination would make it harder to feed and escape, turning them into a meal liability. Mushrooms lose tissue and spores when larvae chew through their caps, so chemical defenses can protect future reproduction. Aren't mushrooms amazing? In some fungi, psilocybin, a psychedelic compound that resembles animal signaling chemicals, can disrupt nerve activities and instincts in insects. Across several unrelated mushroom genera, psilocybin shows up in species that live in similar niches, hinting at a repeated benefit. If the chemical slows or kills insects, mushrooms that make it would suffer less damage, giving that strain more room to spread. Field collections from Dartmoor in southwest England let the group compare insects living on psychedelic and non-psychedelic fungi. Back in the lab, the team used DNA metabarcoding, a method that reads mixed genetic material to identify multiple species at once, to determine which invertebrates were present on each mushroom sample. In several species, the psilocybin makers hosted a distinct set of insects compared with most fungi nearby. So they'll allow a certain group of insects on them, but not the rest. Those patterns, in people, psilocybin works because its active form fits receptors for serotonin, a signaling chemical linked to mood. Once it binds, that signaling pattern changes how the brain processes sensory information in time, which drives the psychedelic effect. One controlled trial directly compared psilocybin therapy with a standard antidepressant in adults with depression. Medical interest does not explain why mushrooms make the molecule, but it raises the stakes for getting biology right. To pin down the cause, scientists need experiments that separate psilocybin from the many other chemicals in mushrooms. Tests using purified compounds, along with fungi engineered to lack the psilocybin pathway, could determine whether insect harm is caused by the psilocybin alone. Trials on fungus gnats and other natural mushroom feeders could also be used to test whether real pests tolerate the drug better. Until those studies arrive, the safest conclusion is that mushroom extracts can hurt insects, but the key ingredient remains uncertain. So they're not sure that it's the psilocybin, but with future tests they're going to be able to tell. Who knew they were doing DNA mapping on flies? Isn't that amazing? Amazing. I was also reading another article. I'll read that one tomorrow. I'll read it tomorrow. Is synthetic mushrooms, synthetic psilocybin, better than natural psilocybin? Which is better? Hold your opinion, and I'll read you an article tomorrow. Synthetic psilocybin, which they're now able to produce from laboratories. We work with a group in Canada. I would say right now about 90% of what we're growing goes to a laboratory group in Canada, and they're doing this kind of research. Okay. Kim, a quick hint, the answer is yes, it's the same molecule, but isn't there an entourage effect when you're using the natural mushroom versus the synthetic? It's just like ayahuasca mix, right? There's a lot more in ayahuasca than just the DMT. So it factors in like Sarah Bear is saying, the other alkaloid. Anyways, I'm giving away the article. It's a small article. We'll discuss it tomorrow. But I love even contemplating the idea of the entourage effect, right? Entourage effect means everything put together, a whole group, not just a single item. Cleanie's convinced that nature has the right formula. I am with Cleanie. Let's look at the 59th verse. Boy, time is flying by this morning. Boy, is time just... 50 people here, 39 likes. 39 likes. What's the story with the rest of the likes? Lazy thumbs, lazy thumbs. And don't forget to hit on your chat option, all chat, instead of just top chat. Okay? Hit all chat, and then you're going to see everybody's comments. The 59th verse of the Tao Te Ching is not long, but it's powerful. In governing people and serving nature, nothing surpasses thrift and moderation. Restraint begins with giving up one's own ideas. This depends on virtue gathered in the past. If there is a good store of virtue, then nothing is impossible. If nothing is impossible, then there are no limits. If a man knows no limits, he is fit to lead. This is the way to be deeply rooted and firmly planted in the Tao, the secret of long life and lasting vision. Thrift and moderation. You know, that's not something we're taught in our society and culture, is it? I haven't seen a single billboard as I drive down the road that told me, don't buy this. I haven't seen any of them said, you don't need 10. You only need a half. Am I right? Arthur, thanks for being here. Thrift and moderation are not something that we are taught. We're taught the exact opposite, gross consumption. Am I right? There are 4 words that crop up repeatedly in many of the translations of this passage of the Tao Te Ching. Restraint, frugality, moderation, and thrift. When you read the different translations, we have about 5 of them here. Those 4 words pop up all the time in the translations. I'm going to go back to a real quick and look at what a couple of the old Chinese sages said when they translated the Tao Te Ching. Wang Kao said this: the way we care for heaven is by guarding our mind and nourishing our nature. Han Fei said this. This is beautiful. Most people use their mind recklessly. Recklessness means waste, and waste means exhaustion. Sages use their mind calmly. Calmness means carefulness, and carefulness means economy. Economy is an art born of an understanding of the Tao. Those who know how to govern others calm their thoughts. Those who know how to care for heaven clear their openings. When their thoughts are calm, old virtue remains within. When their openings are clear, new breath enters from without. Excuse me. And one more. Outside, we govern others. Inside, we care for heaven. In both, nothing surpasses economy. Those who are economical in all things. They're watchful within and on guard without. Only if we are still does virtue have a place to collect. What do they mean by heaven? Are they talking about the heaven and hell that we read about in the Bible? Or is heaven inside you? Lao Tzu is advising you to examine the way you look at these qualities: restraint, frugality, moderation, and thrift, in relation to your supervisory and parenting roles. He doesn't say that you should sit on the sidelines and do nothing, but he does counsel you to practice self-control. When you cultivate a style of leadership, parenting, that creates a good store for virtue, then nothing is impossible. There are no limits. Living in thrift and moderation is being in harmony with the world, directing, giving orders, setting down rules, and asking for obedience. It's important to be a leader who accumulates a warehouse full of virtue by living in accordance with the Tao. When that's what you have to give away, virtue, you'll naturally interfere less. Feel joyful knowing that the examples you're modeling is helping others to make the right choice. As this is the essence of true leadership. As Lao Tzu specifically says, if a man knows no limits, he is fit to lead. People whose lives are ruled by rules and dogma and fear can only do what they've been told to do. Nothing more. The options for self-direction are non-existent for the blindly obedient. So practice restraint and moderation and frugality and thrift when making pronouncements about how others should behave. Children raised in families with blind obedience demands have the highest level of prejudices when they become adults. I'm going to say that again. Children raised in families where that blind obedience is demanded have the highest levels of prejudice when they become adults. Why? Because they've been taught to prejudge what's acceptable according to someone who was in a position to lead them. They have been taught to prejudge according to whatever the dictates were of the person that was leading them. Kimberly's saying it. They were taught to blindly follow. Don't question. That's why it's so vital to give your kids an example of leadership that encourages them to make choices based off of a higher standard. Dr. Dyer says this: I have a gift from my daughter that I've placed on my desk, which I've titled "Nothing is Impossible." It's a green plant growing out of a rock. There's no dirt or earth, only a rock. Yet it thrives, despite what all we've been taught to believe. When my daughter gave this to me, she remarked it reminded her of me, because I've always taught her nothing is impossible. My plant helps me remember that nature has no limits, and that I am as much a part of nature as both the rock and the greenery growing from within that stone. Man, I wish I'd have known parenting skills like this when my boy was young. I did a lot of because I told you so. Because I said so. And my said so's were based off of the ones were said so to me. Leaders that tell you to follow them because they say so, run. Cult leaders do that. That's cult leading. They're not asking you to follow the highest standard. They're asking you to follow them. Run. Run from somebody that's asking you to follow them. Run from someone that's asking you to profit them. I watched a mini documentary. Whenever I see documentaries on a cult, I have to watch it. And I do. I watch it closely. And I ask myself responsibly, what kind of a leader are you going to be, Pops? What kind of a teacher are you going to be? The one that's fleecing the flock? Or the one that's leading flocks to the greenest of pastures? Who eats first, Pops? What kind of car are you driving? What do you ask for from the people that you share with? You ask for them to believe everything is possible. Empower them. Lead from within, not from in front. This particular, I'm not going to get into it, but this particular one was as gross a cult as you could imagine. You're talking about when they showed a video of this woman's, she was a woman cult leader. When they showed a video of her closet, her master closet, you just want to barf on the screen. Her master bedroom closet's the size of your living room, lined with shelves. Must have been a complete Imelda Marcos collection of Jimmy Choo shoes, Dolce Gabbanas. I can't even think of brand names. I'm not even gonna give a brand name the courtesy of mentioning them here. But you're talking about the purses that she had, the clothes, it was millions of dollars worth of stuff. Stuff she couldn't she could wear a different pair of shoes every day of the year, a different handbag every day of the year, a different outfit every day of the year. And you see her up in front of them on a Sunday, excoriating her flock because last week's collection was quote unquote light. You guys didn't give enough last week. What is wrong with you? And you know those poor people keep coming back to that place? And they reached deeper that week because they had been chastised by this cult leader. You think that it's not happening out there? You think there aren't people blindly led into those situations? You think there are a lot of them. One lady who had left the cult, figured it out, talked about she didn't have heat in her house for 2 months. Didn't pay her heat bill because she had to put money in the cult leader's pocket, or she would have felt embarrassed at the services. And so the cult leader goes and buys a handbag. Well, the person she's supposed to be helping and leading is shivering at home. I can tell you she wasn't the only one. Restraint, moderation, frugality, thrift. Nature does not put out too much sunshine. It puts out just the right amount. It gives us sunshine in moderation. Some days it gives us clouds. It doesn't rain forever. It restrains its rain. Watch our world, watch nature. Nature acts on the principles of restraint. There aren't too many fish. If there were, every time I went fishing, my boat would be overloaded with fish. Sometimes there's only 2 or 3. Once in a while you get a little bonus harvest. There's a few more. But nature, thrift, moderation, restraint, frugality. Look at the sages and the masters. Look at the yogas, the yogis. 1 to 2 pairs of sandals. That's it. Right, Nippy, Nippy, you can hear him. There's a guy named Jesus. One heck of a master. He gave away the only cloak he had. Do you think he wasn't going to get another one? He only needs one at a time. You only need one at a time. I can't wear 800 pairs of Jimmy Choos. I hope I'm saying that right, girls. Those shoes, like the ones. How do we live without limits? What limits? Not material limits. Virtue limits. The less we consume material things, the more virtuous we have the capacity to be. The less we consume material things, the more capacity we have to be filled with virtue. The holiest people I've ever known in my life had the least material things. They had the most virtue. Ruffy, go lay down. Go. Go lay down. Thank you. Good boy. Good boy. Practice with living without limits by gathering virtue and modeling it. What are you modeling to your kids? What are you modeling to people around you? Gathering conspicuous consumption? Or are you showing them a person filled with virtue? Somebody that isn't giving them didactic rules constantly on them with an authoritarian, hardcore thumb? Are you releasing them to be pure and free and open to their own sense of virtue? When you practice virtue and modeling it, you'll see the lasting vision. Those you've been selected to lead in one way or another will see it. You have been selected to lead. The next few verses in the Tao Te Ching are about leadership. Why? Because we all have a form of leadership in us. We're all required to be leaders in some form or another. Whether it's as a parent, even the lowest level employee is a leader. I have a nephew. The young fellow just got a job as they call it custodial staff in the school district in Washington, the state of Washington. He's a janitor. Do I remember back to my high school days, the janitor that walked around and he always had a scraper in his back pocket, and he was constantly picking up our spitted out gum that's on the ground. And he did it with such humility and such kindness. He's scraping up my gum off of the ground. And I would watch. And he wasn't mad, and he didn't get mad at the kids for spitting gum on the ground. He performed his function with virtue. And watching that, I remember this to this day. Watching that was a form of leadership. Me watching. He was leading me to understand that whatever my job is, do it the best I can and don't complain. Had he bitched and moaned while he was cleaning up my gum, I would have thought he was a jerk. I wouldn't have thought I was the jerk. I was the one that spit the gum out, or the other kids. We lead in so many ways we don't even realize it. You are leaders. You're leaders in the smallest things you do. I know, Cybert, don't we all love the janitor? Quote unquote, the lowest guy in the school, the last will be first. The last will be first. We're leaders. Remember that in all things you do, you are being watched. Oh, you're being watched at home by the kids. My dad was my leader. Ruled with an iron fist. How do you think I started raising my kid? Iron fist. Oh yeah. What's this? Anthony, every school you went to, the janitor was respected. Don't we all have the same feeling about the janitor? Why? Universally. I still remember my janitor. Do you think he ever thought scraping gum that he'd be talked about it 45 years later? Do you think he cared? Gather as much virtue as you possibly can. For years, I practiced gathering virtue without realizing it. I sent hundreds of thousands of books to individuals and organizations at my own expense. Getting into the habit of beginning each day with this act of love. I spent a great deal of time giving away much of what I earned, almost all of it anonymously. I didn't realize it at the time, but I was accumulating virtue. Now, that was the author of this particular passage. He gave away books. You know, I've spent the last 6 years of my life giving away. I didn't spend the first 60 doing that. I gathered, I amassed. The more I give away, the more room I have to gather virtue. Does that make sense? Give me 5 people say, you know, of course it makes sense, Pops. How do you gather virtue? By living frugally, in moderation, in thrift and restraint, in giving way more than taking. I stopped here about 6 months ago. We used to, you guys remember this, we used to do giveaways 3 times a day here. Spinning the number thing. And I was giving away something in the neighborhood of 30 boxes a week in fruit. And it clicked with me a few months ago, quite a few months ago. Are you bribing people to watch your show? You don't even realize it, but maybe they're watching for what they can materially receive instead of for the virtue of what you may be able to share. And I started feeling the sense of bribery. I started feeling like, I think I'm bribing people. And they may be watching, and they may be involved in the crew more for the chance to win than for your opportunity to share. And so you guys have seen, I had to make a moral choice. I love to give away here on this show. I do. I love it. You guys know that. But I had to pull back from that because I wasn't sure of my motivation. I really wasn't. And I'm clear today. And so I stopped giving it away here on the show, but I did not stop. I want you to know that. There's 2 packages on the front porch right now going out when the mail picks up to people who need. To people who need. And I can do that in a different venue. I can still exercise and give away. So I have room to gather virtue without putting on a show. I won't stop. I haven't. When somebody reaches out to me and says, hey, Pops, I'm right there. But I don't want to put on a show. That's not virtuous. Give me 5 people that get that, please. That doesn't mean that we won't still once in a while do it here as a fun thing to do and when I feel led appropriately. But I can literally take you. 1 second. I only do this not to show off. I do this to prove my point, to prove the truth. On the front porch. Today, I'm somewhere in the neighborhood of, it doesn't matter. There's a different way for me to give today without thinking it could be considered brightish. It could be considered. I only showed you guys that to show you that Pops is trying to practice a completely different life than he ever has before, and constantly checking myself and what are my motives. If you want to be a leader, Pops, constantly check yourself. Constantly balance yourself. Constantly look at nature and say, how does nature give away? Out in front of everybody? Or quietly? With no ask for credit? And I'm still learning. I'm still trying to get it. And it feels right. I'm not, that feels like now like a brag, and it's not. I didn't mean that to be. I mean that to underscore my point. Freely give. Freely give. You want to gain virtue. You want to be an appropriate leader. Do not ask. John Kennedy said it. Don't ask what they can do for me. Ask what I can do for them. I'm constantly checking myself. The last thing I want is to develop a cultish point of view. I was accumulating virtue. You can call virtue God points. You're gathering, you know how we get brownie points? Oh, you got a brownie point for that? No, you got a God point. Go get some God points today. Let your children see you behave that way. Let your neighbors see you behave that way. It's coming up to the season where it's time to start mowing our lawns again. The person next door did not do a good job last year of keeping their lawn mowed. I have a gardener. He gets out his mowing machine, pulls up in a trailer, he's got a ride-along one, and he gets on it, and he mows my little patch. And last year, middle of the year, I asked him, while you're on the machine, what would it take for you to just keep the machine running and run across the lawn next door to me? You're already on it, you're already here. He said, he named a small price. Small. Well, it'd be an extra such and such. I go, from now on, when you're here mowing my yard, run your mower across my next door neighbor's lawn. It didn't take much. My neighbor, of course, loves me. It's leadership. There's so many places you can give in the smallest ways. There's so many places. You're a leader. No, I'm my neighbor's leader. No, I'm not. But I don't think they would hesitate if I asked for something. I don't think that they would hesitate if there was a situation and they were looking for leadership. One of the first persons they're going to look to is a virtuous person, not somebody that's trying to, and I did this for you. Be virtuous. When you are, you're going to find out your life has less peaks and valleys. Be deeply rooted in the Tao. Look at what nature gives us. Look what it asks back. Nothing will pollute it, will litter it, will crap all over it. And it keeps giving. I'm carried away this morning. I'll get out of here now. Moderation, frugality, thrift. Those are the things we should be teaching. And as we practice those things, we fill ourselves with virtue. I'm just reading comments. Thank you, guys. I have lost my train of thought when I brought the neighbor into it. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. I'm just trying to explain that there's so many places we can be generous and give. And it doesn't hurt. It feels good. When you see the mower run over there, he's going to come home and see his lawn mowed. He's going to feel good about it. Those little tingles are your God points. Those are your God points. So go gather God points. Brownie points are the ones everybody sees. God points are the ones that people don't. Gather them. Thank you guys for today. Thank you for listening. Constantly examine what kind of a leader you're being. And what are your motives when you do the things you do? What are your real motives? To be lifted up by man? Or to be filled with virtue? And then when you answer, I want to be filled with virtue, people will be drawn to you. You will be the light of the world. Not the only light, but a light in the world that's incredibly dark. And we need your light. Don't we? Don't we need more light? You are it. So practice filling yourself with virtue. A man filled in conspicuous consumption has no space left for virtue. Thank you again for listening. Real quick, the 4 agreements. The 4 agreements. Be impeccable. Be impeccable as well. Haven't forgotten, Greenie. Don't take things personal. Don't make assumptions. And do your best today to find time and places where you can fill yourself with virtue. And when you have virtue, you'll lead with it. Let me scroll you guys out of here. We ran long again today. Pops is just a long-running son of a gun. Derek Anderson, I love you. Thank you for being here. Remember Derek's raffle, you guys. Head on over to Derek and see if you can't drop some money on that situation so we can help out the women's shelter in San Antonio. Derek Anderson, HB, love you, HB. Mike, the handsome Barry Ball. Jesus Christ, in Australia. Derek, and then Mike Barraball. Here we go. Four Leaf. Mellow. Good morning, Mon. Let's see who else. We got Herbie Von Worley Kabop loving his neighbor. Cyber Jolie. There she is. Clean Grow. We are leading by example, right, Cleanie? Especially in your home. Tony and Classic. I'm so glad you're back here. Who else do we have? I'm scrolling. Sarah Bear, thank you. I love you back. Trenty the Trenty Trenterson. Mr. Marmars. There he is. Greenie. There's Greenie being salt and light. I like it. Salt of the earth and light of virtue. Ray Cook. And who else do we have here? Gerald Watkins knows all about the 4 agreements. That's right, Gerald. Ray Cook and Cyber Jolie, we do need more light. Canito, you're sure neato. Let's see. Come on, Pops. I'm scrolling, so I don't have to say everybody's not named 83 times. Dando, there's my friend Dan. Dan's such a nice man. I've had the opportunity to meet him in person 3 or 4 times, and we just clicked. Really, really nice man. Kimberly, there's a wonderful, wonderful teacher. Vivi, that's Pidgey Page. I don't know if she likes being called Pidge. I don't know if I would want to be called Pidge, but she's my Pidge. And then there's Nurs, and she's going, caw, caw. And Laura, she's divine. Who else is here this morning? Exception. You have a great day. Lizzie the Wazzy Wazerton. If anyone ever wants to get a look at Wazio, just go down the romantic book aisle in your used bookstore, and he's on the cover of those romance novels. Okay? There we go. Thank you, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. We're going to be doing a spirit animal, having a couple other conversations, and then Pops will get carried away again. Okay? Pops, peace. Love. Find places today to store God points and be virtuous. It's practice. And it feels absolutely amazing. No kidding.